You might be surprised to hear this, but the real reason why you're tossing and turning at night might not be your mattress, your caffeine intake, or even stress. There's something deeper, something hidden, something connected to a part of your body that most people don't associate with sleep at all. Your prostate. Yes, you heard that right. The prostate, that small walnut-sized gland, could be one of the biggest reasons why you're not sleeping well. And what's more surprising? Most men have no idea. They go years blaming other causes: blue light, late-night meals, anxiety, never once realizing the issue might be biological and not just behavioral. Let me tell you something important right off the bat. If you've been struggling with poor sleep, waking up multiple times at night to urinate, or feeling like you're never fully rested, you need to pay attention. Because what you're about to discover can genuinely improve your quality of life. And I'll go further. Stay with me until the very end, because I've saved a powerful bonus tip that few people know, one that can dramatically boost the effectiveness of what we'll discuss today. Let's talk reality for a moment. Across the US, men over the age of 40 are silently battling the same issue. They can't sleep through the night. They chalk it up to aging, maybe drink a bit less water in the evening, and move on. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. As the prostate begins to enlarge, something that happens naturally with age, it starts to press against the urethra. This pressure makes it harder to fully empty the bladder, which leads to, you guessed it, frequent bathroom trips in the middle of the night. But this isn't just about being annoyed or losing a bit of sleep. Sleep fragmentation, the kind caused by waking up to urinate, has serious consequences. It disrupts the deep stages of sleep, the ones responsible for memory consolidation, tissue repair, hormone regulation, and even emotional processing. In other words, poor sleep isn't just an inconvenience. It's a slow leak in your overall health. You may notice you're more irritable or forgetful. Maybe your energy levels have dipped and your motivation has gone missing. It's easy to dismiss these changes as just part of getting older. But what if they're not? What if it's your body signaling something deeper, something fixable? The truth is, many men live for years without realizing their prostate is sabotaging their sleep. It's not painful, it's not obvious, and because it's not dramatic, it goes ignored. But the effects, they build, quietly, steadily, and if nothing changes, they worsen. But here's the good news. Once you understand the connection, you can begin to change the outcome. We're going to unpack this step by step, using real science, real habits, and natural strategies that anyone can apply. But a quick word of caution. When it comes to health, especially something as sensitive as the prostate, doing things the wrong way, using the wrong method, or even the wrong amount, can lead to unintended consequences. That's why it's crucial to understand not just what to do, but exactly how to do it. And trust me, you don't want to miss that part. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some nights you seem to sleep fine, while others you wake up 2 or 3 times, feeling the urge to urinate, even if you didn't drink much water before bed? It might not be your hydration levels. In fact, it could be the way your urinary system is being affected by an enlarged or inflamed prostate. More than 50% of men over 50 already experience some form of prostate enlargement. That number jumps to over 80% by age 70. But very few of them are connecting the dots between those midnight bathroom runs and their prostate health. This knowledge is the first step. It empowers you to look beyond the surface, to stop guessing, and start acting. You'll see that some of the simplest shifts in your daily habits can begin to ease the pressure on your prostate and restore something far more valuable than you realize: your sleep. And here's the thing. We're just getting started. The next insight I'll share is one of the most overlooked and yet most critical reasons why your prostate may be triggering sleep issues. Ignoring this could mean that even with the best natural remedies, your results will be limited. And worse, without the right knowledge, you could actually be making things harder for your body. Let's fix that together. Let's take a deeper look at something that seems so simple, yet hides a complex and often overlooked issue: nighttime urination. It's a problem so many men just learn to live with. They wake up once, twice, sometimes 3 times or more during the night to go to the bathroom. They assume it's just what happens with age. But when you understand the anatomy involved, a much clearer and more solvable picture begins to form. Your prostate sits just below your bladder, wrapping around the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of the body. Now, here's where things get interesting. As the prostate enlarges, even slightly, it begins to squeeze the urethra. This causes urine to flow more slowly or less completely. The bladder doesn't empty as well as it used to, and over time, it sends signals to the brain more frequently. Even small amounts of urine make it feel urgent. That's why you keep waking up. And this isn't just a small inconvenience, it's a major disruption to your body's natural cycles. Waking multiple times per night doesn't just affect your mood or energy the next day. It interferes with your ability to enter deep, restorative sleep. That's the kind of sleep your brain needs to clear waste, your cells need to repair, and your immune system needs to function properly. The result? You may start noticing that you're constantly tired, more forgetful, or even feeling emotionally off. This is because your body is operating at a sleep deficit, and over time, that deficit compounds. But why is the prostate enlarging in the first place? That's the million-dollar question. The answer isn't just age. In fact, more and more evidence points to chronic low-grade inflammation as a driving factor. And this is where your lifestyle starts to play a powerful role. Let's talk about inflammation for a moment. It's your body's natural response to injury or infection. But when your body stays in a state of constant, low-level inflammation, often triggered by poor diet, lack of exercise, or exposure to environmental toxins, your tissues begin to suffer. That includes the prostate. The typical Western diet, high in processed foods, red meats, saturated fats, and low in fiber, has been strongly linked to higher levels of inflammation. That inflammation can cause the prostate to swell subtly over time, even without infection or cancer. And here's the kicker. It can start decades before symptoms ever appear. So while you might think your nightly bathroom trips are just a normal part of getting older, they might actually be your body's quiet way of telling you that your internal balance is off. Now you might be wondering, what can I do about it? The good news is that inflammation responds incredibly well to dietary and lifestyle changes. Whole foods, rich in antioxidants and healthy fats, can begin to reverse the damage. Movement helps too. Even walking 30 minutes a day can support better circulation and reduce inflammation throughout the body. But there's one more twist you need to understand. Many men experiencing prostate-related sleep disruptions also make one critical mistake. They focus only on the bladder. They try to drink less water, limit fluids, or take over-the-counter sleep aids. Unfortunately, none of these fix the root cause. In fact, they may make things worse. Restricting hydration can lead to more concentrated urine, which irritates the bladder lining. That irritation increases urgency, not decreases it. And sleep aids? They might knock you out, but they don't stop the signals from the bladder to the brain, so you still wake up. To truly improve your sleep, you must address the underlying inflammation that affects your prostate, which then impacts your bladder and ultimately your rest. It's all connected. By bringing awareness to this chain reaction, you're not only improving your nights, you're protecting your long-term health. Sleep is not a luxury. It's a pillar of wellness. And when you understand how deeply something like prostate health can affect it, you begin to see why ignoring this issue just isn't an option. And here's where it gets even more important. The next strategy we'll talk about is one of the most powerful natural defenses against prostate inflammation. But using it incorrectly or neglecting it entirely not only limits your progress, it may also carry unexpected health consequences. Let's make sure you get this one right. Now that we understand how inflammation and an enlarged prostate can silently sabotage your sleep, we need to explore where that inflammation often begins. And the answer might be hiding in plain sight: your plate. What you choose to eat every day isn't just fueling your body, it's shaping your internal environment. And for many men, it's quietly triggering the very discomfort and disruption they're trying to avoid. Here's something that might shock you. Some of the most common items in the standard American diet are actively working against your prostate health. We're talking about red meats, fried foods, dairy products in excess, and those quick microwave meals packed with sodium and preservatives. These aren't just bad for your heart or waistline, they're inflammatory powerhouses. Over time, they create the perfect storm inside your body: low-grade, chronic inflammation that your immune system can't quite resolve. Your prostate, being a gland surrounded by delicate tissues, is especially vulnerable to these subtle yet ongoing attacks. It begins to swell, not enough to feel pain, but just enough to alter the way you urinate, the way you sleep, and eventually, the way you function day to day. But here's the challenge. Because this process is slow and painless, many men don't make the connection until the symptoms have been with them for years. Let's bring it even closer to home. Think about your last few meals. Did they include highly processed snacks, creamy sauces, or large portions of red meat? These choices might seem harmless in the moment, but repeated daily, they're feeding an internal fire. And as that fire grows, so does the pressure on your urinary system. Scientific studies have increasingly linked poor dietary patterns to the progression of benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. Researchers have found that men who consume diets high in saturated fats and low in vegetables are more likely to experience prostate enlargement, increased urinary symptoms, and yes, poorer sleep quality as a result. It's not just about what you eat occasionally, it's about what you eat consistently. Now let's not pretend that changing your diet is easy. It requires intention and sometimes a bit of unlearning. Many of us were raised to think that meat equals strength or that a full plate equals a good meal. But modern science tells a different story, one that favors balance, color, and whole ingredients. What's even more powerful? These changes don't just benefit your prostate. They support your heart, your brain, your metabolism, and your energy levels too. One simple shift you can begin with today is reducing your intake of processed meats, things like bacon, sausage, deli slices, and replacing them with plant-based proteins or clean fish options like salmon or sardines. These are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which have been shown to help reduce inflammation and support glandular health. Another underrated trigger: dairy. While milk and cheese are staples in many diets, excessive intake has been correlated with increased prostate issues in some studies. That doesn't mean you need to eliminate them entirely, but moderating your consumption and choosing alternatives like almond or oat milk can make a meaningful difference over time. Hydration also plays a sneaky role here. Many men, trying to avoid nighttime trips to the bathroom, cut back on fluids late in the day. But dehydration can concentrate your urine, irritating the bladder and making symptoms worse. The key isn't less water, it's smarter hydration. Drinking regularly throughout the day and tapering gently before bedtime keeps your system balanced. And let's not forget sugar. Processed sugars found in soft drinks, pastries, and packaged snacks don't just spike blood sugar. They promote systemic inflammation, feeding the same cycle we're trying to break. Making changes can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be all at once. Start with one meal. Add more greens. Swap one processed item for something fresh. Each choice builds on the last. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Remember, what you eat becomes part of you. It influences your hormones, your immune response, your inflammation levels, all of which directly impact your prostate and your sleep. By choosing better fuel, you're giving your body the chance to reset, to heal, and to finally get the rest it deserves. And that leads us to something truly exciting. Because while avoiding certain foods is one side of the equation, there are also powerful, natural ingredients that actively work in your favor, compounds that can support your prostate, calm inflammation, and restore balance. But be warned, using them incorrectly or missing one key detail could undo their benefits entirely. That's why the next step is absolutely essential, and skipping it could not only limit your progress but also bring unintended consequences you didn't see coming. Now that we've uncovered how poor food choices fuel inflammation and quietly compromise your prostate and your sleep, it's time to shift gears. Let's talk about the body's natural allies. Because while certain foods can act like fuel on a fire, others work more like water, soothing, calming, restoring balance from the inside out. There's a fascinating truth here. Nature has already provided us with powerful tools to protect and even rejuvenate the prostate, but most of us walk right past them in the grocery store, unaware of what they can do. When combined intentionally, these natural compounds can reduce inflammation, ease urinary symptoms, and ultimately, help you sleep through the night, without relying on medications or drastic interventions. Let's start with one of the most researched and reliable natural ingredients out there: pumpkin seeds. Small, yes, but mighty. These little seeds are packed with zinc, a mineral essential for prostate function. Studies have shown that men with higher zinc intake are less likely to suffer from enlarged prostates. But pumpkin seeds also contain phytosterols, which help shrink prostate tissue and improve urine flow. It's a 1-2 punch your body can feel within weeks. Another unsung hero is nettle root, not the stinging leaves, but the root. Traditionally used in herbal medicine across Europe, nettle root has been found to reduce the activity of certain hormones that contribute to prostate enlargement. Think of it as nature's hormone balancer. It doesn't suppress your system, it simply brings it back into harmony. And then we have lycopene. You've probably heard of it. It's what gives tomatoes their red color. But here's what many don't realize. Lycopene becomes significantly more bioavailable when tomatoes are cooked. So that tomato sauce on your pasta, if it's homemade and not packed with additives, it could actually be working in your favor. Lycopene is a potent antioxidant that targets oxidative stress in the prostate, calming the internal storm that leads to swelling and irritation. Let's not forget green tea. Yes, that humble cup you sip in the afternoon may be more powerful than you think. Rich in polyphenols, especially epigallocatechin galate, EGCG, green tea has been shown to lower inflammation and slow the progression of prostate enlargement. But timing matters. Drinking green tea earlier in the day avoids the late caffeine spike that could interfere with sleep. These ingredients are powerful on their own, but when combined in the right balance and consumed consistently, they can deliver results that many men didn't think were possible. Less urgency, less discomfort, deeper, uninterrupted sleep. But, and this is critical, natural doesn't mean automatic. You have to use them correctly. One common mistake is overconsumption. More doesn't always mean better. For example, eating excessive pumpkin seeds without balancing your diet can lead to gastrointestinal discomfort or unwanted calorie intake. The key is moderation and consistency. Another issue is form. Some nutrients are better absorbed in liquid form, others in raw or cooked states. Lycopene, for instance, is far more potent when tomatoes are cooked with a bit of healthy fat, like olive oil. Zinc is more bioavailable when paired with vitamin C-rich foods. These nuances matter, and they're often the difference between results and frustration. Even the time of day plays a role. Taking a supplement or drinking a prostate-supportive tea at the wrong time can reduce its effectiveness or even disrupt your sleep. That's why understanding not just what to take, but how and when to take it is crucial. So if you're serious about supporting your prostate naturally, the path is clear. Incorporate these foods into your daily life, not just once in a while. Roast a handful of pumpkin seeds and keep them on your kitchen counter. Make a fresh tomato sauce with garlic and herbs. Brew a cup of green tea in the morning instead of that extra coffee. These are small acts, but their impact adds up. Every positive choice you make sends a signal to your body. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to rest. I'm ready to function better. But we're not done yet. Because while these natural ingredients are powerful, there's one in particular, virtually unknown to most people. That could be the missing piece in your sleep puzzle. It's easy to find, surprisingly affordable, and when used the right way, it can gently ease nighttime symptoms without side effects. However, use it wrong, and it could delay your progress or cancel out all the benefits you've worked so hard to build. That's why this next step is absolutely critical. By now, you've discovered how common foods and hidden inflammation play a central role in prostate health and sleep quality. You've also learned about natural allies like pumpkin seeds, lycopene, nettle root, and green tea, each offering support when used wisely. But now it's time to uncover a little-known ingredient that many overlook. It's not flashy, it's not exotic, but when used correctly, it can make a real difference in reducing nighttime discomfort and restoring restful sleep. What we're talking about is something incredibly simple: corn silk. That's right, the soft, thread-like strands you find when you peel back the husk of a fresh ear of corn. For generations, corn silk has been used in traditional medicine to support urinary health. Yet, most people throw it away, unaware of its gentle but powerful effects on the body. Corn silk contains a unique blend of plant compounds, including flavonoids, saponins, and potassium salts. These compounds act as mild natural diuretics and anti-inflammatories. But don't confuse this with the kind of diuretic that forces you to the bathroom constantly. Corn silk works differently. It promotes urinary flow and soothes the urinary tract, which can actually reduce the sense of urgency and frequency during the night. And that's the key. It doesn't just make you urinate more. It helps your body release what's already there more completely and more comfortably. That means fewer half-empty bladder signals to the brain and fewer nighttime interruptions. This gentle action is what makes it so unique and so valuable. But not all corn silk is created equal. If the corn is not organic, it may contain pesticide residues, which can counteract the very benefits we're aiming for. That's why sourcing clean, organic corn silk, either fresh or dried, is the first step toward getting results. You can often find dried corn silk in health food stores or even online, sold specifically for tea preparation. Now, here's how to use it. The preparation is simple, but it must be done correctly. Bring about 2 cups of water to a boil, then add 1 to 2 tablespoons of dried corn silk, or a small handful if fresh. Reduce the heat and simmer for 10 minutes. After that, turn off the heat and let it steep, covered, for another 10 minutes. Strain and drink warm, preferably in the early evening. Why early evening? Because it gives your body time to gently process and release fluid without triggering late-night urgency. Timing is everything. Drinking it too close to bedtime might still disrupt your rest, not because of the corn silk itself, but because of your body's natural rhythm. Many users report a noticeable difference in sleep quality within the first week. Less urgency, fewer wake-ups, and a deeper, more restful sleep. That's the kind of progress we're aiming for. But as always, consistency matters. This isn't a magic bullet. It's a supportive ally that works best when paired with the dietary and lifestyle changes we've already discussed. Another benefit, corn silk supports kidney function as well. It helps the body manage excess fluids and toxins more efficiently, creating a cleaner internal environment, not just for the prostate, but for the whole urinary system. It's incredible to think that something so easily discarded holds such potential. But that's the beauty of natural health. It often hides in the simplest places. Still, there's one more layer to this story. Because while corn silk helps soothe and balance the urinary system, there's a way to boost its effects even further. A combination that, when done correctly, acts like a harmony of natural healing. But when done carelessly or out of balance, it can interfere with the benefits you've worked so hard to build. That's why what comes next is absolutely crucial. The final piece of the puzzle will show you how to prepare and combine ingredients properly, not just to reduce symptoms, but to genuinely enhance your sleep, your comfort, and your long-term well-being. Ignoring this last step not only risks poor results, but could lead to counterproductive outcomes that set you back instead of moving you forward. You followed the clues, connected the dots, and discovered natural ways to support your prostate and reclaim better sleep. Now comes the most important part, putting it all together in the right way. Because even the most powerful natural remedies can lose their effectiveness, or worse, cause unintended discomfort when used without care. It starts with preparation. Natural ingredients work best when treated with respect, and that means knowing how to extract their benefits correctly. Take corn silk, for example. When boiled too aggressively or for too long, its delicate compounds can degrade. When steeped gently, however, it delivers soothing support to the urinary tract without overstimulating the kidneys. That's why the simmer and steep method matters. Don't rush it. Let the plant do its work at its own pace. Now, let's talk synergy. One of the best ways to enhance the effects of corn silk is by pairing it with cold-pressed pumpkin seed oil. This oil, rich in phytosterols and zinc, supports hormonal balance and reduces inflammation. Taken about 30 minutes before bed, just a teaspoon, it complements the gentle diuretic action of corn silk by nourishing the prostate directly. While corn silk calms the urgency, the oil helps reduce the root causes of swelling. But there's a subtlety here. These two should not be consumed at the same moment. Space them out. Enjoy your corn silk tea in the early evening, around dinner time. Then, after your meal has digested, take the pumpkin seed oil on an empty stomach before bed. This staggered approach allows each remedy to do its part without interference. Another key factor is consistency. Many people try something for a day or two, don't feel immediate changes, and give up. But natural healing doesn't work on demand. It works through gentle correction, through small adjustments that compound over time. Drinking corn silk tea 3 to 4 times a week and taking pumpkin seed oil nightly gives your body the time it needs to respond. This isn't about hacking your system. It's about restoring your body's rhythm. That includes respecting your hydration cycles, being mindful of your evening meals, and avoiding stimulants too close to bedtime. Sleep, after all, is not just about the absence of wakefulness. It's about the presence of internal harmony. Now let's revisit why this matters so much. Poor sleep isn't just annoying. It disrupts your memory, your mood, your metabolism, and your immune function. When your prostate is inflamed or enlarged, it keeps triggering signals to your bladder, even if there's barely anything there. That's what leads to frequent awakenings. And when that cycle continues night after night, it starts to wear on every part of your life. But look at what you've learned. You now know how everyday foods can increase inflammation, and how certain natural compounds can help reverse it. You understand how the urinary system functions, and how small changes in diet, timing, and preparation can make a big impact. This is practical, usable knowledge that puts you in control. Most importantly, you now have a blueprint, one that doesn't rely on invasive procedures or heavy medications, but on informed choices and sustainable habits. And as you begin to apply these practices, your body will respond. Maybe not overnight, but soon you'll notice it. Deeper rest, fewer interruptions, a stronger sense of vitality. And that's what this is all about. You deserve to wake up feeling restored. You deserve nights that recharge you, not rob you of energy. You deserve the chance to care for your body with confidence, using nature's own tools. If this journey has helped you learn something new, something that could improve your life or someone else's, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Talk about it. Inspire others to take their health into their own hands too. Because when we learn together, we heal together. Like, share, or subscribe if this message resonated with you. And never forget, your body has the wisdom to heal, and now you have the knowledge to guide it.